Good morning. Let's see what's going on with the planet today. Welcome. I've reopened our planet weather news. Gonna hopefully be doing this for you guys daily. We're gonna be taking a look at the weather. We're gonna be taking a look at what our Earth is doing. We're gonna be taking a look at what is happening out in space as well. All these things are important. All of them affect us. Our geographical weather in particular. So anyway, let's get started. So here is the last 24 hours of earthquake readings. Now you'll notice all of this here in California. For anybody who's new here and hasn't followed these reports before, you just need to know this is California. This is what it does. It's actually pretty quiet in the last 24 hours. I know in the last week or so they've had some pretty good shakeups. Some 6-point magnitude earthquakes happened not long ago. But right now everything looks pretty normal. Now you will notice a little bit of activity going on here in the Midwest. Oklahoma City, we have this Mears fault line. I believe that's the Mears. Yeah, Mears fault line. Arkansas. Now, of course, we know the New Madrid is up in here. And I don't know why they don't show it to us. I have actually messaged the USGS to ask, why is the New Madrid not mapped? Curious to know. And I'm sure it's not the only one. It's almost like the whole eastern side of the United States isn't mapped for some reason. So anyway, hopefully we're going to find that out. But anyway, it's actually pretty quiet. These were magnitude 2, okay? You maybe felt it if you were sitting on top of it, but probably not very much, okay? So anyway, pretty quiet. And if we look at our entire region, Alaska, yeah, it's got a lot of activity just like California. This is a normal thing for Alaska. So you're going to see this if you go on to the USGS website yourselves to check what's going on with your planet. You're going to see this activity. It's completely normal. In fact, the Ring of Fire is pretty quiet, which is kind of interesting. It wasn't so long ago that it was not very quiet. In fact, the biggest earthquake, we have a 5.0 there, and we have a 5.2. Bolivia, Peru, Chunguillo, Peru, has the biggest earthquake right now on our planet. And let me tell you, a 5.2 ain't much. Would you feel a 5.2? Yes. It is hardly catastrophic, okay? So, the planet is pretty quiet. Cannot say the same about our space weather, okay? Lots of things going on with the space weather right now. As you know, if you've been following me and seen any of my YouTube videos listed below, you'll know we're in cycle 25 of our solar cycle, and it has been an active cycle, okay? As of yesterday, I take that back. Let me back up. We currently have a good sizable sunspot, AR 3176, facing directly at us right now, okay? And it is showing activity, okay? What it's liable to do is throw an M-class flare at us. So let's look at what the flare classes mean, okay? There are 3 classes. There's an X class, M class, and C class. X class is the big ones, the worst ones. M class, medium. C class, very low. Each one of those classes has 9 levels, so you're going to have an X1 class or an M2 class, whatever the case may be. Now, the X-class flares are major events. They just extinction type events. Shit's gonna burn to the ground we ever get an X class. Okay, M class flares disrupt various technologies that we have going on nowadays, but in various areas. It's not necessarily going to be a global event. C class flares we're not even going to notice, okay? All right, so let's go back. The strongest so far that we have been able to record, and this is since we have all of our technology and capabilities able to record and measure these flares, was December 30th, so that was yesterday, so 1938, okay? This was an M class 3.7 flare that hit us, and it caused a shortwave radio blackout over the Pacific Ocean. So it wasn't a global event. They're not necessarily global events. They're regional events. So if it shoots something, it's just going to depend where Earth is in its rotation on who's going to get that dose. The Bastille the Bastille Day solar storm was an X class 5.7 flare. It happened back in July 2000. And what was important about this flare was not so much the damage that it did, and it was regional damage, but it was the first really big solar event that we were able to measure, okay, with the technology that we have. And it really took us far in knowing how to predict, seeing what was coming up to that event, what happened after the event. It was just a really important solar flare event for the scientists, and it helped them move forward in being able to, give us warnings and being able to predict what's going to happen and where it's going to happen. Now, the Carrington event, however, which remains unclassed because we did not have technology back then, it was, thus far in recorded history, our most serious solar flare event, CME event, that we've had. It happened back in 1859, September 1st, 1859, and it resulted in widespread, complete blackouts, damages. Any electrical power grid that existed at the time got blown out, completely blown out. So they're suspecting that it was a very high class X flare event. But what they can tell you about this event is if this event happens today, this is going to cause some problems, okay? So that's why it's important to keep track of what's going on with the space weather. And as their technology grows, they are able to warn us about things. So we'll know when we need to protect our computers, when we need to protect our phones, when we need to know, hey, my GPS is going to go out today, my internet's going to go out today, whatever the case may be, as we progress forward in society with everything being so dependent on the interwebs. We need to know when shit like this is going to happen. When I worked, I often kept my boss and I updated. Hey, your phone's going to act funky today, so just know that. Because, we were in the judicial system, and we depended, especially during COVID, on the internet, on connectivity, on our phones. Everything was done that way. And if things were going to be hokey, it was great to have a heads up. Anyway, spaceweather.com is where you can go for this information on a daily basis. You also can get aurora information if you live in an area where you can see aurora. The G1 class storm that happened on the 30th, the one I mentioned on the 30th, brought, let's see, where did it bring it down to Maine? Brought the auroras down to Maine, I believe. Anyway, you can keep track of that. You can also keep track of the near Earth asteroids. Let's see, today's date's 12/31. So January 31, we don't have any near Earth asteroids. The next near Earth, actually, that's wrong. Here we go. Yeah, okay. The next near Earth asteroid is going to happen tomorrow, January 1st. Okay. And it's going to be relatively close. It's going to be relatively close, but nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Again, they're able to tell us a lot. They're able to tell us a lot. But all these things affect, affect us and affect our daily lives. Here's what's going on in our nation right now. Weather-wise, it is pretty quiet compared to the crap that came down from the Arctic last week and just swept across the nation. Swept like a complete sweep. It was bananas. Definitely day after tomorrow type crap. But we're pretty quiet. The snow has died down. We've got a little bit of snow. A little bit of snow over here in the northeastern central plains. A lot of rain coming off of there. Some snow coming down there. Not bad. Not bad at all. A lot of rain here, but at least it's not snow. At least it's not snow. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed our little update we have today. Hopefully I'm going to do this. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. Hang with me. Okay? Hang with me as I find where I'm supposed to look. It's gonna get better. Anyway, I'll see you again in the morning. I love you. Nana Prep out.